Hi, I'm Will Alexander. I have a little story for you. In 1972, a young boy walks in the ring for his first time, showing his family's Irish setter, Lance. He walks in the ring, everything clouds in on him. He starts to panic, anxiety sets in. He hands the dog to the judge and runs out of the ring crying his eyes out. 48 years later, 800 best in shows, multiple national specialties, multiple top dog all breeds, Winky Award winner, and he had the pleasure of showing Miss P to Best in Show 2015 Westminster Kennel Club. We all start somewhere. You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Next stop, the dog show. Okay, what is a dog show? Defined, a dog show is an event or competition for showcasing your breeding stock. In reality, it's a microcosm of the real world. In this dog show you'll see workers, you'll see politicians, you'll see artists, you'll see rock stars. But you'll also see legacies. Legacies are what I call people that have been in this sport for generations. And then there's the civilian, and that's going to be the newcomers. So a civilian walks to a dog show, and what's the first thing they see? They see mayhem, organized mayhem. It's crazy. They see these rings with these dogs running around in circles, these dogs standing in the center, and a person in the center in a suit touching and watching and pointing. What is this? Well, this is actually a synchronized series of events that take you 1,000 dogs at 9 o'clock in the morning, the process of elimination, to one dog at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's your best in show winner. So actually, when you walk in that dog show and you see all these things happening, that's actually what's happening. So at 9 o'clock, the first breeds walk in, usually in alphabetical order, and by 5 o'clock, 7 dogs walk in the ring, and 1 dog is chosen for best in show. So that's a dog show. So you're at this dog show, so you've automatically, I would assume you've chosen your breed, right? First things first, you've chosen your breed. Now what do we do? How do we get involved in that breed in this crazy dog show world that you're looking at that you think you want to be involved in? Well, you have to choose a mentor. So it's not brain surgery. I think it's one of the easier things to do. You don't have to study. You just go to a dog show and you watch. And this is how I'd like to teach most of my students. I want my students to go to dog shows and watch what happens. So if you want to, say, get involved with boxers. So you go to the boxer ring at all these dog shows. Each time you go to a dog show, you go to the boxer ring, and you watch and you watch. Eventually you'll start seeing similarities. You'll see somebody consistently winning. That's the person you talk to. Whether you agree with them or not, because you're going to hear all kinds of feedback. And like I was taught when I was a kid, there's the losers group and the winners group, and usually the losers group is a lot bigger than the winners group, because the loser group will be pointing over there. And if they're pointing over there, that's chances are you're the winner, and that's the group you want to be in. So you want to choose a mentor. This is what I call standing on the shoulders of giants. Okay, because you go to buy a puppy, and you take out your checkbook and you sign it and you swipe it and you say, here, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, I want to buy one of your dogs. What have you just purchased? You didn't just purchase a dog. You purchased years of experience, hundreds of years. Because not only are you buying their experience, but you're buying the experience that they bought 50 years ago or 20 years ago. So that is what you're buying. You're buying 100 years of experience. So you're that further ahead if you've already chosen the right mentor. Okay? That's the key. So you've got your mentor. What is your mentor going to do? Your mentor is going to say, hey, I want you to read breed standards. The breed standards, okay. When breed standards first came out, they were very generalized. Okay, they were trying to incorporate certain dogs from certain counties that did the same job. They looked similar, so let's say 2 farmers had 2 dogs that they hunted with, and they looked similar, so let's write a breed standard for what we're going to call a bird dog, or a setter, or a springer, or whatever. They're going to incorporate general appearance, and eventually it's going to be changed into, it becomes a little more detailed about each breed. But they all start off generalized. So you need to know your breed standard, because you need to know what is right and what is wrong with your dogs, not only your dog, but the dog in the ring against you. You need to know all these things. You need to be able to walk in that ring so it becomes second nature to you. You're in the ring, and that first dog is the dog you need to be in competition with. That's the dog that you need to beat. Not only breed standards are important, but also breed history. You know those books you see in the library that says the complete Irish setter, the new and complete English setter? You need to read those. When I was a kid, I would open up Mr. Aldridge's book and I would read it from cover to cover. I wanted to know everything about Irish setters I could possibly take in. I used to bother people. I used to call people. So I would choose a mentor, and actually George Olson is one of my biggest mentors. I would call George when I was a kid, and I'd be like 10 or 11 years old, and I'd call Fieldstone Kennels, and the phone would ring, and the kennel girl would answer and say, "George, it's that kid from Canada," and all of a sudden I would hear, "That crazy Canuck kid." But he always came and answered my question. Always. Even if he was, and I know how crazy handlers get in the middle of the week. They're busy, busy, busy. So he always took the time to answer my question. And I think that's because I chose the right mentor. I've had other mentors, but George was one that I called constantly, and I thought I was bothering him. And even to this day, I still bother him, but I think he likes it. So choose the right mentor. So today we're going to talk about setting your dog up for the judge's examination. I haven't always been the dog show giant you see before you. Yes, there was a time when I was dog show's version of the 90-pound weakling, getting reserve ribbons kicked in my face continuously. I was an embarrassment. I was being quietly ridiculed behind my back. So what do? Two simple words in the English language. Common sense. Okay? We're not out here trying to save the world. We're trying to become competitive at dog shows. So there must be a system that we can do that breaks things down for us so that we can walk in the ring and set our dog up efficiently with no wasted time, because we need to set those dogs up and get an outline as fast as we can, because remember, this sport is all about outline, okay? So I worked on a system that breaks things down for us to work smarter, not harder. A system that works for everybody, okay? So that everybody can gain in this system. My system is called the No Fuss Stack. No Fuss Stack deals with your dog's balance and its comfort. So when you walk into the ring, you let the dog stop. He creates his own balance. He or she gets comfortable. And while this is happening, you're keeping your dog's head straight, its spine straight, and its tail straight. That way, there is always an outline for the dog, the judge out there watching. So remember, outline. So you've got your head straight, spine straight, tail straight, and then you just fix what's wrong, okay? If you're lucky, only two things are wrong, so you have to fix two things. A lot of times it's three things. There's usually at least 1 foot right, okay? So you look down and you fix what's wrong, and always go by the elbow, and left leg, left hand, switch hands, right leg. Okay, it's a system we're going to talk about afterwards. If I'm going to bring the dog in, we're going to go through it, okay? So that's what we're going to teach you today. Okay, so I'm going to go through the No Fuss Stack right now with you. This is Ellie. She's our big dog. We're going to have a little dog afterwards. So the No Fuss Stack basically deals with your dog's own balance and comfort. So I'm going to walk Ellie forward a couple of steps. I'm going to let her stop. She gets comfortable. Again. Everything's straight. So 3 steps. I have Ellie set up. Okay. I'm going to go through that again for you. You walk her forward a couple steps, let her stop, get comfortable. Attention to detail. Head straight. Fix what's wrong. Spine straight. And now it's just going to be 2 steps, and Ellie's done. So right now I'm doing it a little slow for you people, but imagine the ring if I walked in and it was just 2 steps and boom, boom, we were ready. Okay, so now I'm going to show it to you in real time without discussing what I'm doing, just so I can show you how it actually works. Okay, so that's what you want to strive for. You want to be able to get it going, boom, 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 so it's second nature and your dog is set up. So the way we do that is we have an exercise that I do with my class every time I walk in. Now I usually use a ring and they go from corner to corner. Right now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do 3 steps. I want you to do this every day for about 10 minutes per time. No more than 10 minutes. This is the exercise. Come on out. Start back here. Your dog walks in. You take a couple steps. Let them get comfortable. Tell them they're good. A couple more steps. Let them get comfortable. Notice how each time we're progressing. One more time. Go, girl. Step up. Get comfortable. Step up. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to do that 10 minutes a day. Okay, so I want this to become second nature for you. Good girl. So I want to go through a few things that, it's not usually problems, but things to make it easier for you when you're doing this system, okay? So when you walk up with the dog, stop her. Again, I'm going to be keeping everything tight. So right there, we already have attention to detail. We've tucked in her neck. We've done this. So when you're fixing your left leg, you're going to use your left hand, and you're going to go down to her left elbow, and you're going to set it up. To her right, you're going to switch hands. Again, attention to detail, by the elbow, put it down. When you go to the back end, I like to let the dogs know where I'm going. I go all the way back to the box here, it'll tickle the tail. Okay, and the whole time I was doing that, you noticed I was keeping her head straight and her spine straight. What can happen is, if you don't do that, if you don't concentrate on keeping the head straight, the spine straight, this can happen. I'll just step forward a bit. Step. So you've got her set up. You're going to go set her up. Rather than keeping her head straight and you do this to go back here, the balance changes. You don't want that. You've got to concentrate on this part right here, keeping her straight the whole time. Okay. So that even though you're fixing something, that judge gets to see an outline while you're fixing it. Okay. Try to keep this straight. Don't knock her off her balance. Good girl. So we just went from a large dog, now we're going to go to a small dog. A small dog takes a little more steps because you're way up here and they're way down there. So you got to think a little more. So remember, when you're doing a little dog, again, you're choosing your spot where you're stopping. I'm going to do it for you and describe it, and then we'll do it in real time afterwards. So you're going to walk up, let them get comfortable, and as they get comfortable, you've got to take yourself down, okay? So you're down at their level. Again, same thing. Head straight, spine straight, tail eventually. You're going to fix what's wrong. Okay, so that was 3 steps. We want to make it less than that. So the exercise with the little dog is, you're going to come back here. Oh, baby girl. Good girl. 2 steps. Let her stop. Spine straight. 1 step. 1 step. Tail up. We're done. 2 steps for her. Okay. So the exercise again with the little dog is, we're going to do it in real time this time. Oh, baby girl. 1, 2, let him stop. Go down. Head straight, spine straight. 2 steps, your dog is set up. Okay? You're going to get up, tell them they're good. 2 steps. Down. Spine straight. Okay, so that's the little dog, the small dog on the ground. Now we're going to show you the small dog on the table. So we already showed you setting up a large dog. We showed you setting up a little dog on the ground. Now we're going to show you how to set up your little dog on the table, because that's where the judge examines your dog. Okay. Now remember, the dog show starts right away. So actually, the judge is going to watch you when you're picking your dog up. Now sometimes they don't because they're already moving the dog ahead of you. But always be aware. Always be ready for everything. Now, you need to be always in the dog show. So when you're picking your dog up, same things apply as the ground. You grab the dog's head with a lead. I tend to put them over my shoulder. Undercarriage, up we go. I still have her head in position, okay? And now make sure I want you to work smarter, not harder. You're going to put her down exactly where you're going to set her up. There. 2 steps. You have an outline already. So you haven't set up, but you have an outline. Head straight, spine straight. Fix what's wrong. Your dog is set up for the judge's examination. So in today's self-isolation times, most judges are not checking the dog's bite themselves anymore. They're relying on you. And I think in most cases you want to do it yourself anyway because it's safer for your dog. And your dog is more comfortable with you opening their mouth rather than a stranger. So I actually teach all my students to show the dog's bite as soon as the judge walks up. Either they ask for it or they don't. I want it done just because I want to get out of the way. And there's so many different techniques. When people show the dog's bite, this is a table dog obviously. Judge walks up. I want you to point that dog's face right at the judge and open the mouth, okay? I don't want to see you doing this. This happens a lot. They'll turn the dog's head to themselves and they'll look themselves. Don't do that. Don't turn your dog. Automatically the balance changes when you turn your dog's head. Point up. And with full dentition dog breeds, I get this a lot too. You get the handler doing this. Did you see what happened? She moved her legs. The judge's head moves, okay? Remember that. So when you open it, you show the sides. The judge will look. Trust me, they won't ask you to force your dog's head over. Just lift the dog's lips both sides to the judge so they can see. Let them look. Let them turn and look, okay? Don't swing your dog's head back and forth. No. Okay? I'm going to show you that on a large dog too. Okay, showing the bite of a larger breed, same thing. Judge walks up. I want you to show it right away, get it done. Dog prefers you, the owner or handler, to open the dog's mouth. So how I do it is I cradle the dog's head and I point their mouth right up the judge, and then I spin this lead so I've got control back here as well as under here. Point up, part the lips. With a boxer, I'm going to show the sides a bit because they want to see the canines. But see how I'm not moving her head back and forth. I'm just opening. Because the judge's head, again, swivels. Like I told you, they can look themselves. Okay, so do not go back and forth. Dogs don't like that. Their balance changes. It looks ridiculous. Just boom, boom, boom. Head up. Done. Attention to detail. Make sure everything's back where it's supposed to be. And we're ready once again. Okay, so I've given you quite a bit of information already in this little half hour, but a few other things before we get to the Q&A. I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about timing, the skillful art of timing. Timing. Okay? Timing is very important in every aspect of this sport. Remember, when you're practicing at home, you can't really do this, but at home, at a dog show, you're not setting your dog up for the crowd. You're setting your dog up for the judge. Remember that the judge only looks at you periodically, so don't waste your perfect setup for the woman sitting in the ringside or the man watching his daughter show a dog. Okay, you're there for the judge. Those two cannot give you a ribbon. The judge gives you a ribbon. So that's timing. Also, as a professional handler, this has all become second nature to most of us who walk in here, and we just do it. So you need to practice. Now, like I told you before, I don't want you to practice more than 10, 15 minutes tops with your dog a day on one thing. You can do 2 things, but if you're going to do this, the no fuss stack, 10, 15 minutes, that's enough. You don't want them to get bored to the point where they hate it. You want a good show dog, so you want them to be a happy show dog. So that's your homework. Your homework is to do the no fuss stack practice a no fuss stack. Practice showing your dog's bite. Remember not to look at yourself. Look at the judge. Show the bite to the judge. Okay, that's very important. You want to be in the winner's circle. That's your motivation. Okay. At the end of this seminar, I want you to be competitive wherever you go. And that means you have to work as well as I have to work. Okay. So the next webinar is going to be moving your dog for the judge's examination. That's another very important one. We'll get into that next time.